Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Super here, and welcome to another MK11 video. This is going to be a big one. Well, I guess not really a big one. It's just going to be a long video because I'm going to be talking about my honest opinions on MK11, everything that I like and everything I dislike. I'm sure I'm going to miss a couple of things, but now that the game is officially done being supported any further as far as patches, as far as DLC characters, this is the final product officially, and I want to give my honest opinions on everything about the game. And hopefully for future Mortal Kombats, maybe, you know, NetherRealm could take in some consideration from this video, you know, other people's videos, the comment section, you know, Twitter, stuff like that, which they already do because you know, you could definitely tell that they take consideration from the fans. A lot of people don't like to admit it, but come on, NetherRealm definitely pays attention, and they do take a lot of consideration from, you know, what we talk about, even though some people might not like it and they might not take all consideration. But yeah, we definitely influence, you know, parts of what NetherRealm does, and which is awesome because they give the people what they want. Not everybody, you can't please everybody, but NetherRealm definitely gives the people what they want. So leave a like on the video for Mortal Kombat 11. All right, so I asked on Twitter here, you know, I asked people what their likes and dislikes about the game were because I was really interested. So the first like little part right now, I'm just gonna go through a couple of the comments. I haven't really read too many of them, but I'm gonna go through a couple of them here in the video, and then I'll leave a, you know, a timestamp in the comments or in the description of when I actually start talking about my opinion, because it's probably going to be a long one here because I have a lot of stuff to say. But of course, I'm interested in what the community, you know, thinks. So let's just go through a couple here. Let's see, the first person here for likes, well, visually pleasing, good graphics. I'm not going to give my opinions on their thoughts. I'm just going to, you know, share what they think, because a lot of things I'm probably going to agree and disagree with, stuff like that, which I'll get into my own stuff. Couple dislikes. Much like the pace of the game, it's not as fast as MKX, and the combos are also restricted. You don't have a lot of options in doing combos, which is something Injustice 2 thrives upon. I will comment on that because Injustice 2 actually has a lot of creative stuff that you could do with characters, which a lot of people overlook because of how zone heavy it is. But Injustice 2 definitely has some cool stuff. Love the story as always. The combat pack delivered great characters. Disappointed by some of the character models and outfits. Outright hate the different costume options, which were just shaders of the same outfit. I definitely have that in my list for future discussion. Hated how convoluted it was to unlock them. MK11 probably had the largest variety in customizable content and finishers out of any Mortal Kombat to date. So this person actually liked the customizable options compared to the other, the reply before that didn't. So, you know, difference of opinions, cool to read. With the second largest roster in MK history, not every customization option was great, but each finisher went from decent to phenomenal. Honestly, it was the meta when I first started playing. Playing online was annoying and I couldn't stand the stagger / grab meta. Oh my god, I agree with the strike throw thing. I'm gonna talk about that later too. I stopped being as bad. I got good at the game, but the meta alone makes me not blame people who dropped the game in the first couple of weeks. The graphics were top notch and I appreciate the NRS always tries something different with each MK title. Gameplay wise, biggest dislike is that the game does feel unfinished. Excuse me, not just DLC wise, but some gameplay and balance issues that should have been addressed. All right, next up here, likes, the netcode is good, the story, the strategic gameplay, the graphics, the brutalities. Dislike, the crypt, I don't know, it's weird. Also, jump scares are a bit outdated. Breakaway seems like a good idea in the wrong game. I like basically all the game has to offer except the fact that you can only do the fatal blow once and you yourself need to be almost dead to use it. I hate that to this day. I would have still preferred a fatal blow meter or something. Okay. Let's see a couple more here. I like the roster so much. The Fatal Blow mechanic, I find it way better than getting 2 times YOLO X-Ray for no reason. The stages were so many and so beautiful. I dislike the breakaway because, or especially for the fighters I play, breakaway was a pain in the ass. The wake up attack and the wake up attacks. So dislikes the Fatal Blow and the wake up attacks. The towers were a big plus in this game, and the customization too. Combat League was good with all these perfect skins. You can create your own variations. Again, I didn't like how they changed Sindel's story so much for no reason. I think it's canon. All right, last one here. I love the character design and the Fatal Blow / meter system, and I especially love the way the moves look. Like you can pause at any frame and it will still look amazing. The only thing I hate is how the game gets boring very fast. All right, so those are only a couple of the thoughts of the community. I will leave the Twitter discussion in the description if you guys want to go, reply to my tweet or just read what everyone else is thinking about the game. But, just scrolling down, here are a couple more. I'm not going to read through them all because there are a lot of interactions right there. But I'm sure the community has a lot to say about the game. So now let's go on to switch it over here and put the gameplay action so I could talk a little bit about some of my stuff. All right, so there's going to be a lot that I talk about. I actually have notes written down. I don't have any specifics to talk about it. I'm just going to, shoot from the heart. But I do have notes of likes and dislikes, and there's going to be a lot of them that actually go both ways as far as, I like something about I like something specific and I dislike something specific about the same topic. All right. Let's start off with the obvious. Obviously, one like is the graphics, right? Just based off the intro dialogue and the intros in this game, right now I'm in the customization. Let's check out Spawn. Actually, I'm not in customization, but 2 huge improvements that they did in this game. Obviously, the graphics, and second are the intro dialogues. The intro dialogues and the outros, man, such an incredible improvement from Mortal Kombat X. It's not even close. If you go back and play MKX and you check out the intro dialogue, it's absolutely night and day compared to MK11. MK11's intros are so much more inspired, so much funnier. They last a lot longer. There's a lot more personality that goes into it. And the graphics, don't even get me started. This is one of the best looking games of all time. I mean, look at the detail just based off this intro, and this is just, not even one of the craziest intros, but just the detail in Escape and the way everything flows, absolutely gorgeous. Look at this fucking look at this outro from Spawn. Are you kidding me? This NetherRealm really fucking blew it out the water. One of the best looking just video games for me in general of all time. It's crazy what NetherRealm has been able to do with their own custom engine. Really impressive. So of course, the biggest improvement is definitely graphics. Intros and outros absolutely killed it, NetherRealm. All right, so my first dislike is going to be something that's just nitpicky for me, which is the finish 'em screen. There's been so many times that I have finished my opponents. I'm trying to get a brutality, and the finish 'em screen pops up as soon as the life bar hits 0, and it just completely messes up the combo. Not only that, but there was a glitch for a long time where if you end the game with a crushing blow, the next attack counts as a single attack instead of counting as a continuation of the combo. So the combo dropped and you weren't able to finish off your opponent. I think that it was one of the biggest downgrades because in MKX, you just finished off your opponents and nothing came out. The finish 'em screen didn't pop out until they either dropped from your combo or you just finished them with a single attack. that ended their life bar. But if you were in the middle of a combo when your opponent's life bar hit 0, nothing would come out. You could just style on your opponent and, you know, keep going until you actually finish the game with a brutality or drop your combo. And then the finish him screen will pop up. I think that was a huge downgrade. I hope they change that for the next Mortal Kombat game and just have a nice flow of your combo continuing and no finish him screen popping up until you either drop the combo when your opponent has 0 life, or you just finish your opponent off with like a single attack that's not in a combo after their life hits 0. That's just a nitpick one for me. All right, so another like that I think NetherRealm deserves a lot of props for is their tutorial. I think NetherRealm probably has the most in-depth tutorial out of any fighting game in the history of fighting games. Their tutorial covers everything that you want to know about a fighting game. I think it covers frame data, right? Let's see. Building combos, advantage and pressure, positioning, resources, character lessons, you know, talking about characters' moves and stuff, advanced offense, advanced defense. They even cover frame data. A lot of people have no idea what frame data even is, and NetherRealm thought ahead and cover everything. They go from basics to advanced stuff like covering frame data. I think NetherRealm's tutorial is the most in-depth in any fighting game, and I feel like it's something that gets overlooked because a lot of us that, you know, are playing the game already know a lot of the basics, but NetherRealm sells millions upon millions of copies every single time that they release a new fighting game. So for people who are new that obviously are going to look for tutorials, this is going to help them out so much, be ahead of the curve compared to jumping into another fighting game. I'm not going to name any other fighting games, obviously, but NetherRealm puts their fan base, you know, their newer players at an advantage compared to if they would start fresh on another fighting game because they have such an amazing in-depth tutorial. NetherRealm deserves a ton of praise for their tutorial. All right, moving on here to the dislike. Another dislike that I have, and I think this is something that was pretty consistent throughout everyone, is the slow-paced gameplay of MK11. I feel like toning down the speed of the game really hurt Mortal Kombat 11, especially at the start, because it was slower than it is now. Later on, after it got released, the dashes were improved, so you could actually, you know, forward dashes were sped up. Sub-Zero, you know, always had one of the fastest forward dashes. But even with that improved speed, I feel like the slow pace of the game really makes the game feel boring. I think I'm going to talk about gameplay stuff, you know, coming up, but I feel like the slow movement of the game in general, because there are some characters, you know, like Kotal Khan, or some characters like Rain that have like what people call wave dashing, which is you hold block and you move forward, you know, dash up forward. There's a lot of movement like that, but honestly, most people are not even going to be able to do that. Like, I can't even really do the wave dashing with the majority of the characters in this game. I try to do it, you know, sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't. But the majority of people are not going to be able to do it. So what they're going to be left with is, you know, stuff like this, doing this. You know, the walk speed of the characters isn't that great either. And I feel like for me, when I play this game, it definitely gets boring a lot faster because of the slower movement speed. It doesn't feel like you're in mud like Injustice 1, for example, but it definitely feels a lot slower than even Injustice 2. And Injustice 2, the walk speed of that game and the dashes, you know, there's no dash canceling like there is in this game, in Injustice 2, but it just felt the movement in that game was a lot smoother and faster paced in this game, even though a lot of people like to do this in Injustice 2, you know what I mean? They don't like to move forward. But for MK11, there's a lot about the movement that I think was a huge downgrade compared to MKX. Now, it didn't have to be as crazy as MKX, because MKX was like, if you're, on fucking crack or something, you're just running all over the place. You're on, performance enhancing drugs. You're just ultra fast, and everything is, insanely fast. But I feel like if they would have just kept it like MK9's pace, I think MK9 has a perfect balance between being really fast and slower pace, because they also have dash canceling, but everything just seems to move a lot faster in that game compared to something like MK11. So I would have been perfectly fine if they would have made the movement as quick and the dash canceling as quick, and just the overall pace of the game as quick as an MK9, for example. Just because I love MKX doesn't mean that, it's the best pace for a fighting game, because a lot of people cannot handle the run up in your face in half a second for full screen. Your opponents in your face doing their 50-50 offense in half a second when they were, on the other side of the screen. But I feel like if they would have kept it around MK9's pace, I think it would have helped out the game a lot. And one of the biggest reasons why I literally could count in my hand how many tournaments I watched for MK11 compared to I never missed a tournament from MKX, as far as the first maybe 6 months. But even in the first 6 months of MK11, I definitely skipped over 99% of the tournaments for this game, and a lot of it had to do with the pace of it. So I feel like even if something that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on the dislikes, as far as nerfing characters and just overall combo structure being toned down, if the game would have been faster pace, I would have been a lot happier with the finished product compared to the slower pace that MK11 ended up being. So I think that is my biggest dislike of the game. Biggest dislike of the game. How slow it feels. Because I get bored of it. Whenever I play MK11, the slowness of the game, it's boring. After a while. Of course, you still admire the graphics, you still admire everything else that's positive that I'm going to talk about. But at the end of the day, the gameplay is so slow. I'm like, oh my god, please. And then including that with the meta that we're going to talk about after this that I'm going to talk about. Man, it's a bad combination. Alright, so another is the DLC. Now, a lot of people, and there's going to be people who are going to disagree with this. Let's go to Fighter Select. There's going to be a lot of people that disagree with this. But I feel like the DLC content in MK11 was really, really good. Not only because, we got fucking Spawn in a Mortal Kombat game. Not only that, but the best looking Mortal Kombat game. He has some of the best intros, some of the best outros. And with Soul Forfeit, I think he's the most fun character to play in this game, because you get the easy crush and blow combos. Not only did we get Spawn, but we got Joker. For me, my favorite comic book villain of all time. Favorite character still Soups. Not only that, but we got the Mortal Kombat 1 actors. Mortal Kombat 1 movie, 1995 Mortal Kombat. The OG Mortal Kombat movie actors doing the voices and having the facial features of those actors playing their characters. You got Lyndon Ashby here, Johnny Cage, you got Cary Tagawa as Shang Tsung. Not only that, but of course we're going to talk about the story expansion, him being pretty much the big bad when it came to that. And of course we have the biggest of them all, Christopher Lambert. Probably my favorite skin in the game. Adding his unique voice with the look the best DLC costume in the game, in my humble opinion. Really, really, really amazing. I can't believe they even did this, honestly. When I saw that there was going to be a Mortal Kombat movie skin, of course, you know, I don't want to leave out Bridget Wilson.
Sonya Blade.
Miss Vaughn herself. She's amazing too. She's definitely my favorite Sonya skin by far. She has a lot of good colors to her outfit. She did an amazing job. Still, you know, very, very good as a Sonya voiceover. But the movie skins alone, like, wow. When I saw them, I couldn't believe that it was actually happening, because it's so cool that they reprise the roles from the original Mortal Kombat movie. It's something that was very, very, very special when it came out. You know what I mean? I think a lot of us that love the 95 movie could relate. When we saw these actors reprise a role in an actual fighting game, and with how good the visual capture looks for all the characters, it was something really, really special. We had a couple other characters that were out of left field for me. I really did not think that we would ever get Robocop, Rambo, the Terminator in a Mortal Kombat game. Are you kidding me? We have Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in a Mortal Kombat game. If you're a fan of the 80s action movies, this was absolutely insane. Now, I understand, like I said, it's personal preference. Some people might be a lot younger. Some people might have been born, you know, in the 2000s. They could give two shits about these actors and characters. But as far as, you know, someone who was born in the 90s, but, you know, my dad would always rent these 80s action movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold. You know, these are some of the biggest movie stars, in my opinion, in the history of movies. So seeing these guys be included in this game was really, really cool. So guest characters were amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. That doesn't even include like the normal DLC characters. A lot of people got Melina back. NetherRealm listened to the community. The vocal, you know, people who wanted Melina, she came back. The Purple Prince was a huge surprise. I really never thought that Rain was going to come back as a DLC character, because he was already a DLC character in MK9. They broke that cycle right there. So now any DLC character could make it again if there's enough requests for it. Rain, awesome in this game. Has a lot of his classic moves. Implements it really well. A lot of sick brutalities. We got Fujin coming back, making his first appearance since the 3D era. Sindel, a lot of people didn't like her story and the way it was changed. But gameplay-wise, she is by far the most interesting that she's ever been. She has a lot of really cool combos. One of the exceptions in this game, with amazing combo potential with multiple different moves, including one that is like has ridiculous combos with the, you know, like hover explosion, whatever you want to call it, the hover burst. It made me actually care about Sindel because her gameplay was so amazing. And obviously, come on, like, she's the best looking female character in this game, and it's not even close. Come on, don't argue with me. Sindel is like heals over everybody. We got Nightwolf returning. I'm not a big Nightwolf fan, but it was cool to see him come back and, you know, get some intro dialogue. We got to find out that there's female Nightwolves as well from his ending. Frosty came back. You know, we had Shao Kahn as a pre-order bonus. And just overall, I think the DLC characters were amazing in this game. So that's definitely a huge positive. Not only that, but we also got a lot of cool costumes. You know, we had Harley Quinn, you know, Cassie Quinn, Harley Quinn costume for Cassie. There was so many cool like themed costumes. You know, you had Katana with this beautiful looking costume that she has. You had the classic MK3, you had the classic MK2 costumes. There was so much good DLC content for this game, costumes and characters, in my opinion. All right, let's move on to the second biggest dislike that I have here, which is the neutering and toning down of every character in the game. Oh, I remember when I was listening to, I forgot what interview it is. I'm not going to be able to find it. I don't remember if it was an interview or it was like during the launch events. But I remember a person from NetherRealm. I don't know if it was Stephanie Brownback or if it was Ed Boon. I think it might have been both. You know, it was pretty clear that NetherRealm made it a point to nerf combos in MK11 compared to MKX. They specifically said that they toned down the combos in MK11 to make this game more footsie, more spacing, more competitive, more thought, you know, with more thought involved, instead of just juggling your opponent for about 15 seconds for a 30% combo. They made it a point to nerf a lot of characters' combo potential, flashy moves, in order to bring this game back to an MK2, a Mortal Kombat 2 style of game. That's specifically what they said. They wanted this game to be more like a Mortal Kombat 2 compared to the craziness of MKX. And I think that was their biggest mistake, because the game didn't have to be Mortal Kombat X. It didn't have to have a run button. It didn't have to have the crazy offense that game had. It didn't have to have the 50-50s. But if this game would have had multiple juggle opportunities, creative combos, multiple moves that, you know, had some more thought into them, instead of just being a move where you knock people down. If you would have had characters that had fun moves like Sindel, like Spawn, like Noob Saibot, for everyone in the cast, this game had the potential to be the best Mortal Kombat game of all time, because the graphics were there, the intro dialogues were there, the outros were there, the customization was there, the ability, well, I guess not at the start, but later on, the ability to create your own variation, the costumes, everything was there except for the gameplay. And the fact that they decided to tone down the combo system compared to Mortal Kombat X, even compared to Injustice 2, really, really hurt the game in a more casual view. And that's what I am. I'm a casual player. I'm not a competitive player. All this is based off my casual opinion. And I think my casual opinion represents the majority of this game. People who like Mortal Kombat 11 mostly are people who are very into competitive. And this game, I really don't keep up with it competitively. So I don't even know if people even like it as a competitive fighting game. But it definitely fits that mold a lot more than a Mortal Kombat X as a competitor, because you're in more control over your character. You have a slower paced game, less 50-50s, at least compared to MKX. But as a viewer, this game, without the creativity that you have with the combo system, with the slower pace, it definitely is not an appealing game as a casual viewer and as a casual player. So I'll give you guys an example of neutering, right? We have Scorpion. Scorpion in this game has two awesome katana blades, and he rarely uses them, right? Compared to Ninjutsu Scorpion in Mortal Kombat X, with his forward 2 and his back 2, putting in work, juggling people's asses for about 32. Right? That's just one example. You got another example with Scorpion. Instead of giving Scorpion a nice combo route without having to use meter, they decided to neuter him a little bit and have his regular spear have to be amplified in order to combo your opponents. If they would have just given him his normal spear to be able to extend for combos, he would have had bigger combo potential because he would have had that extra bar of meter to potentially use it on another combo extension. There's a lot of that goes on in this game for every character. Aaron Black, my favorite character in this game because Ermac didn't make it. You have 3 variations in Mortal Kombat X that all feel pretty unique. You have Gunslinger with the gun stance. You have Outlaw with the pocket sand. And then you have Marksman with the gun cancels. I feel like he plays differently in all those variations. Compared to this game, you have probably 2 moves realistically that you're going to use. Actually, 3 moves. You have the Scud Shot. You have his gun launcher. And then you have whatever else you want to put. But you have 2 moves that are pretty much going to be a bread and butter for Aaron Black variations if you want to actually try to win the game. He has some other creative moves like the TNT toss and the bear trap, which I came up with, like a pretty cool setup with. But realistically, what the hell are you going to do as far as winning with that variation? It's not really, it's more of a gimmick variation. Now, if you get people in the corner, that's a different story, but getting people in the corner with that variation, not having something to make your best combo string safe on block, not being able to use that combo string, takes away from the character. Neutered. He doesn't get any launchers unless you're using his rifle launcher. Unless you're using a crushing blow or unless you're using the rifle launcher, he doesn't get a launcher for anything. No other move gives him a launcher. You get like a restand or you get a capture state with the bear trap and stuff, but you get no launcher. He has other moves that are absolutely useless, like the upwards peacemaker. And there's a couple other ones that extend like his combo strings to give him a little bit more, a different version of that combo string. What the fuck? Instead of like having a little bit more inspiration and giving him something a little bit more unique, they decided to put moves in the game for every character that are completely useless and no one is going to use, that have no like, that don't add anything to the character. And that is riddled all over this game because they decided to go the route of making things not as crazy as previous games. All right, let's move on now. One of my biggest likes is obviously the amount of brutalities in this game is insane. I love the fact that every character has at least 9 brutalities. At least 9 brutalities. There's some characters that have way more. And they were still adding brutalities even, a year and a half, 2 years into the game. They're still adding new brutalities up until, they decided to stop. And you get new brutalities as combat league rewards. You get new brutalities from towers. One thing that I didn't like is the fact that for the base roster, actually, let me talk about the base roster first. There was a DLC, there was a something that you could buy in MKX that unlocked everything in the crypt, right? Everything, every brutality, every like piece of artwork, everything. You pay like $20 and you got every fatality, every brutality for every single character in the base roster. And that was something so you wouldn't have to grind to unlock brutalities in the game. Why the hell didn't they have that option in MK11? The fact that you have at least 9 brutalities for every single character and you have to grind towers to get those brutalities. I understand new ones being put in a combat league so you could work towards a goal in order to unlock those brutalities. Those I understand. But like the base roster ones, I feel like you should have had that option for people who want to pay the money. Like, you don't have to pay the money. You could grind for the brutals. But for somebody who might not have time, who might go to work all the time and might have like an hour or two a week to play this game, doesn't include myself obviously, but I'm just speaking in general, that don't have the time to grind for the brutalities of their favorite character that has 9 brutalities, they should have had that option to buy all brutalities, all skins, all crypts, moves, whatever, like everything for $20 like they had in MKX. I think that would have been a huge positive for the game. The DLC characters in MKX, they actually came with all their brutalities unlocked, unlike the DLC characters in this game where you had to grind for towers. I know they want people to play fucking towers, but people are going to play towers because they want to play towers. I don't want to play towers because I have to unlock fucking brutalities. Please, please, have the DLC characters come with all the brutalities unlocked next time. Please. You could grind for costumes or something like that, but I want all the brutalities unlocked for DLC characters. So that's a like and dislike right there. I think the brutalities in this game are really creative too. I think they're really fun. And once they removed a lot of the stupid requirements for the moves and made it a lot easier to get, brutalities became even better. All right, let's go to another like and dislike, fatal blows. So I feel like fatal blows are actually really cool. I like the fact that you unlock it once you're under 30% and you only get it once. I do like that you only get it once. And I like the fact that you unlock it when it's under 30% because it is sort of a little comeback mechanic. Actually, it is a comeback mechanic. But not only that, you could add it into your combos, which I always felt was really cool because it's a resource that the game gives you by default. So that means you don't have to use your 3 bars of meter like in MKX to get the X-ray. You could actually use your 2 bars of offensive meter in this game to launch your opponent, blah, 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 get a huge combo, and then finish it off with your fatal blow. I always thought that was really cool. So I actually like the fact that you get the fatal blow at 30%. I feel like they should keep that in future games. But I feel like they should make them incredibly unsafe on block with 0 pushback. My dislike about fatal blows is that they have so much pushback that a lot of them are impossible to punish, especially online when there's lag involved. As good as the internet or as good as the connection is in MK11, the netcode, there's still going to be some sort of delay, some sort of connection, like not problem, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not going to be perfect. But the fact that fatal blows are not punishable on block most of the time because they have so much pushback, especially when you're in the corner. They fucking push you back so far. Fatal blows should have 0 pushback because if someone is going to wake up fatal blow and I make that read, I want to be able to punish them for making that stupid YOLO wake up fatal blow because they have armor on them. I'm cool with them having armor. I don't really care about that. It's mostly that the fact that most of them are not punishable on block. That is what I hate. They should have 0 pushback, and I should get rewarded with, max damage combo for you throwing out a stupid fatal blow. I feel the same way with down 2s. I feel like down 2 should be, if you block it, there should be no pushback. They should just be sitting right there, minus like 30 on block, and you should be able to get your max damage punish. So that's what I hate about fatal blows, the pushback on them. They should have 0 pushback. All right, so let's move on here. What's a dislike that I have here? All right, speaking of like defensive options, because crushing or fatal blows can be defensive options. We're going to talk about crushing blows in a bit. The meter system and the defensive mechanics in this game is something that I go back and forth about. Of course, you guys let me know in the comment section. I feel like the meter system in this game is, you know, a lot more fair overall. But I feel like, I don't know, because there's pros and cons, man. This one I'm like, you know, a coin toss about, because the positive is every character gains the same amount of meter at the same time. And that means that if you're at 0 at the start of the game and your opponent has a zoning character that's going to be chucking projectiles, or has a character that is very offensive and oppressive and has a lot of combo strings that you're going to have to block, that means they're not gaining extra meter for, you know, their strengths. That means that both of you guys are going to get meter at the same time. They're not going to have the meter advantage. Like, for example, a zoning character like Deadshot or something like that, or like Starfire in Injustice 2, that's just going to be chucking projectile, gaining meter while you're trying to walk in, block, stuff like that. While you're not gaining any meter, they're gaining all the meter in the world. So that's the one positive about everyone getting meter at the same time. But then again, the fact that the meter refills means that your opponent is going to get breakaway by default. Like, just playing the game, your opponent is going to be earning defense and offensive meter, and with sometimes with no work involved, or I guess no work involved at all. It just regenerates. So I can't really make up my mind as far as do I like this or not, because like I said, I gave you the pros and cons about regenerating meter. So I don't really know, man. I feel like I'm leaning more towards the side of I want meter to be earned instead of meter to be given. So if I had to choose from one or the other, I feel like meter should be earned. So that means that I would prefer the meter not to regenerate by default, defensive or offensive. Now, the defensive mechanics in this game I found really annoying. I prefer the wake up armor system compared to the meter burn up 3, meter burn up 2, stuff like that. The fact that you could delay wake up in multiple different timings, I guess they kind of like changed that. The roll away, the roll forward, stuff like that. I do not like any of the defensive options in this game, especially breakaway, man. Breakaway is so bad. I hate breakaway. I don't think there's one person that plays MK11 that likes breakaway. I don't want to get punished for launching my opponent into a combo, going into my combo extender, having them break away, and having them get up to punish my attack because I launched you for a combo. I spent resources to put you in a combo. You break away at the right time while I'm trying to do a combo string, and then you wake up and punish me. That should not be a thing. You should not get rewarded for getting hit. You know what I mean? So I feel like the breaker system in MKX was a lot more fair because it pretty much reset everything back to neutral, and it took away both players' stamina. So one player didn't have an advantage to run back in your face anymore like they had at the beginning of the game. Both characters were pretty much set back to neutral, and you lose 2 bars of meter for your breaker, and then boom, you get to play again. But you don't get punished. The offensive player doesn't get punished for launching your opponent and having your opponent break away and get up and punish you for it. That's something I always hated in this game. And I think everybody, like 100% of the players, hate the breakaway system in this game. I hope it never comes back. All right, so Combat League. I feel like Combat League is a pro for me. It's a like. I think they could implement it a little bit better. Because even though a lot of times I was playing Combat League and I would like get up to like demigod status, stuff like that, I would still get matched up with people who are like way lower down in like the first section of the Combat League rankings. And I feel like it should be like Guilty Gear Strive, where you only face people at that level no matter what. I know it's a little bit harder when it's not based off like a lobby system, it's just random, but I feel like they could improve the skill-based matchmaking a little bit more. But I definitely like Combat League as a little challenge, you know what I mean? Like, it's always fun to play for something as far as ranked matches go. If you want to play custom matches, like player matches, and have like infinite rematches, stuff like that, like normally I do, just because I like, you know, playing more matches. But as far as ranked goes, having a best 2 out of 3, I think is a perfect balance, because you don't get the 3 matches like you did in Injustice 2, where sometimes it felt like, you know, things could drag on a little bit. But you do have enough time to adapt to your opponent's playstyle based off that first match. So I think like 2 out of 3 for Combat League ranked, I think that's a perfect amount. I did like the fact that you get rewards for playing Combat League. I didn't like the fact that you had to grind so much, like where you have to play 5 Combat League sets a day for 10 days. I felt that was really stupid. I prefer the other one where you spill like 10,000 pints of blood, because it just comes naturally while you're playing. But you don't have to like specifically log in. All right, I got my 5 matches. Okay, the next day I got my 5 matches just to get a skin or brutality. I thought that was stupid. But I like the fact that you got skins based off of the ranking and how high up you get. I thought that was really cool, even though sometimes it was annoying because the best costume was, you know, up at like the demigod status, and it is a grind to get up to demigod. I feel like the point system could work a little bit better. If you beat somebody, I feel like you should get rewarded with more points. And as far as losing points, I do feel like you should lose more points as well. If you lose to somebody who is like a lower rank than you, I feel like you should lose more points. I think 35 was the most points you could lose. I feel like it should be like 75 or something like that. And then reward people for beating people who are higher than you are. Like, give them even more points. I think they did a pretty good job as like giving points, but I feel like they should take away more points when you lose a match. But just overall, I thought Combat League was a really good implementation into this game. They should definitely carry it over, because most of the time when you played ranked, you weren't really playing for anything. It was just like a set, right? But now Combat League gives you something to, like a goal to achieve, which I think is really cool. Gives people motivation to play the game. Next up here, a dislike that I have is the gear system. Just like somebody in my reply said, the gear system, I feel like there's a lot of just uninspired costumes that look the same. Let's see. Let's go to customization real quick. Character customization. Let's check out who has some uninspiring skins. I think Cassie has probably the worst skins in the game that don't include DLC, like just the default skins, right? All right. So this is her default skin. It looks pretty nice. I actually like the default skin. I like the ponytail she has going. This is another one of her skins. All right, it almost looks the same. There's not too much of a difference. No hairstyle change, nothing. All right, let's move on. Okay, is this a new one? Yeah, right? Yep, it's a new one. Okay. You put a jacket on. You're a little cold there. Okay, it's cool. No hair change though. No real change to the costume. You move on to this one. All right, you know, it's kind of ugly, but at least there's more inspiration to it. The hair changed. You know, they went back to the MKX short hair. It looks a little weird, but there's some change there. There's some improvement. Well, I guess not improvement, but there's a change. And this one, you know, the costume resembles, you know, something like this a lot. At least the hair changed, you know what I mean? But as far as the costume goes, it looks almost the same as the first 2 that I showed you. Or the first 3 that I showed you. And that goes... This is another costume that isn't even the same as this, right? And it looks the same. So there's a lot of uninspired costumes in this game. A lot. Now you move on to the DLC costumes. Holy shit. What an improvement. They actually have the potential to come up with some cool costumes, even though this is like a themed costume, but still, it looks beautiful. And then you move on to the zombie one. Oh my god. What a crazy, crazy inspired skin. Just make her look like a revenant and keep the default costume. Wow. Cool. Amazing. Alright, this is, you know, kind of looks the same as her, you know, her other skins. They kind of wanted to make it look like the one from MKX, but it's very, very uninspired. And this one is just this costume, but without the jacket. Wow. Unbelievable. Crazy. Crazy inspiration, man. I wonder how they came up with those costumes and those changes. I'm not saying that the costumes are bad, but there's a lot of them that look almost identical, and it goes across the entire roster. So I feel like the costumes in this game, overall, the customization is so much of a downgrade compared to Injustice 2, because at least in Injustice 2 you had you could actually pick your shader for the gear that you put on your character, so it kind of made it more unique compared to this game where you have default colors that you could choose from, and it's about 6 versions of the costumes. But having, I don't know, man, you had at least 12 shaders per character in Injustice 2, and some of them, like Batman, had like, I don't know, like 20 shaders, 20 plus shaders. So it really changed the look of the character, and there was a lot of different combinations that you could create yourself instead of having default skins like this. And if they were gonna have default skins, they should have just had like MKX or MK9, where you just pick the skin and you have like, I don't know, 3-4 skins per character, but they're like very unique and like either throwbacks, classic skins, you know, new skins, stuff like that. But I feel like the customization in this game was definitely a huge downgrade compared to Injustice. All right, next up here, positives and negatives. I already talked about it, but custom moves in this game, I feel like, are very uninspired. Very uninspired. There's some unique circumstances like Sindel, like Spawn, where you have these characters with absolutely amazing custom moves that literally change the way characters play. This one is banned, by the way. This one is banned, right? Where is it? Here you go. This one is banned. The enhanced regal presence is a banned move for competitive, but it gives her access to different moves in the air. One of them is like a burst move where you could juggle your opponent like 7 times without really losing too much gravity on your attack, and you could keep on doing or you could finish off the combo with a special move at the end. You could combo into it from, you know, specific setups. Some characters like Sindel, some characters like Spawn with his soul forfeit have amazing combo potential in this game. But the majority of the cast has so many fucking moves. Let's go back to Cassie, because to me, Cassie was the most disappointing character in this game, because she was so much fun in MKX with 3 variations that were very unique, including Spec Ops Cassie. Wait, was it Spec Ops Cassie or Spec Ops Sonya? Well, whatever, the missile variation, even that was really fun to play. After a while, I got used to it. But, you know, you had Brawler and then you had Hollywood. All of them played very different. All of them were fun. But with Cassie, you have this stupid move right here, Control, where you control your little drone. And every move is so slow. You can't combo into it from normal moves because it's so slow. You have this stupid air move right here that is useless. The kneecapping is one of the only good moves she has. What's this? Oh, flipping out. Oh, no, okay. The air barrage is just like her air gunshots. Not as good though, because there's a lot more recovery. The flipping out, completely useless move. Shoulder charge, one of her best moves. Flying glow kick is an alright move. It's a high, so you could duck it, punish it, but it's pretty fast. You have this move right here that is kind of like, you know, Jackie with the leap. Is not as good. But you have so many of these moves right here, like these two stupid, useless moves that are just used for zoning, and they're not even good zoning tools. You have this move right here that's good. This one is just a damage over time one. You have so many useless moves that a lot of Cassie players are not going to be able to use or don't want to use, compared to MKX Cassie that had 3 unique variations that were all fun. Custom moves in this game were very, very uninspired. Let's move on. All right. So, positive and negative, crushing blows. I feel like crushing blows were a good idea visually, but they finished executing them completely horribly, in my opinion. So, I feel like, you know, Soul Forfeit with 5 crushing blows in one combo is one of the best looking combos in Mortal Kombat history. Like getting 5 crushing blows, 4 crushing blows into a fatal blow, 4 crushing blows into a brutality. You guys know those are like literally my best combos that I've ever hit in this game. Those combos look so sick because the cinematic aspect of the crushing blows. I feel like in theory it was a really good idea, but most characters in this game have stupid crushing blow requirements and useless crushing blows. Not only that, but a lot of characters in this game have crushing blows that instead of rewarding you with a launcher and potentially, you know, getting a nice stylish combo, they knock down. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's go to... I'm not going to go into training mode with it, but you guys will know what I'm talking about. Robocop has a crushing blow on his forward 2-1-2 string where the attack literally chops your opponent in the head. Literally chops downwards on your opponent's head. That could have easily created a launch opportunity when the crushing blow becomes active. But what do they do instead? No, I don't want you to get a combo. Just take the 30% damage from the crushing blow, combo string, whatever, and your opponent gets knocked down. Robocop already has limited combo potential and is more of a zoning character, but you do get the forward 2-1-2 crushing blow when you whiff punish your opponent. It's pretty common to get that crushing blow as Robocop, so they could have at least given him another launcher opportunity with the crushing blow. Reward the player to get a stylish combo for a lot more damage than just splashing the opponent down with the chop for, you know, 30% damage. Just giving them the crushing blow. 3 hits. Boom. 3 hits. Okay. Back to zoning Robocop, you know. Back to just trying to run away. I know you can play offense with the command grab, but, you know, the crushing blow that he has is a perfect example of, to me, what's wrong with this game. It's just completely toning things down and not wanting to be flashy at all. Which doesn't really make sense because there's some characters, like I mentioned, Spawn, Sindel, really, really flashy. But crushing blows like that are a perfect example, man. Like they much rather have the majority of characters be toned down and not have combo potential than have combo potential. And I feel like crushing blows should have been kept the way they were in the beta, which you could stock crushing blows for the entire match. And if you punish somebody, if the punish, like, if you punish somebody and it comes out as a punish, you could still use a punish requirement for a crushing blow in the middle of the combo. You know what I mean? Like Scorpion's forward 3-4, you know, the kick. In the beta, you didn't have to start with the crushing blow and the string. You didn't have to punish with the string into the crushing blow. You could actually punish with like 1-1 into teleport, and then you could do the spear, and then at the end of the combo, if you wanted to, you could do the crushing blow. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it used to be in the beta. You didn't need to punish with the specific combo string that you want to use a crushing blow on, but instead you could pick and choose when you want to use your crushing blow. I felt they should have left it that way instead of changing it to, okay, you need to punish with forward 3-4 in order to activate the crushing blow. I think it would have opened up the game a little bit more to more creative combos and more combo potential. Now, of course, there would have been some characters that would have fucking had insane potential for damage and situations with that, but instead of just removing it for everybody, you could have just toned down the potential for those characters to do crazy shit. You know what I mean? Instead of punishing everybody, they should have just nerfed the crushing blows for those characters. Like, Liu Kang would have been insane, like absolutely ridiculous, but they could have just nerfed the crushing blows that he did. You know, maybe nerf the damage a ton if you use it at the end of a combo compared to if you just punish with that single attack. Like the flying kick, for example, would have been something that you could have ended a combo with if you punish the opponent, because, you know, that's like a punish crushing blow. But you could have nerfed the hell out of it. You know, you can make changes to characters based on how strong things are instead of just removing it completely for everybody. Man, such a shame. Such a shame. It would have definitely opened up a lot of combo potential for characters. All right. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that was the last thing. Lack of good custom moves was my last one, but I'm pretty sure that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I knew this was going to be a long-ass video because I just want to get everything off my chest as far as my likes and dislikes about this game. And I'm looking forward to, you know, 4 years down the road, 5 years, whatever, when the new Mortal Kombat game comes out, what NetherRealm is going to do, because I feel like they definitely learned a lot from this game. I am pretty sure they're going to go back to a lot more fast pace, and I guarantee the game will be a lot more fun to play and watch compared to MK11. My overall thoughts on the game is I still absolutely love Mortal Kombat 11. There's, in my opinion, the likes overweigh the dislikes as far as an overall Mortal Kombat game. I feel like there's a ton of content. I feel like, you know, the DLC was actually amazing in my opinion. There's so much positive about the game, but as far as like playing it, I definitely don't have fun playing this game as much as MKX. That's obvious, but just overall, I really don't have fun playing this game too much. And I hope the next NetherRealm game is a lot more fun and more open, more creative, more offensive pace. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a long one. I haven't stopped talking for about an hour, and I need some water. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time. What's going on? It's Super here, and thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you aren't subscribed already, make sure you guys do so. And if you want to see some more, there's videos popping up on the screen right now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.